Good evening, dear Ugandans, wherever you're watching us from. Abali Uganda, it is 20 minutes past 10 p.m. Abali mu North America, I don't know exactly the time. Nensubira it's afternoon. Abali mu UK, you are 3 hours behind. Mulina okubanga saawa ziri emu bwakawungeera. Those in Australia, babuuzaako abali mu Asia, everywhere you're watching us from. Here we are with my brother Ivan Bruce. We are going to talk about how far we've come in the past 30 days. Which made it was a Zomwezi campaign trail. It's exactly 30 days today. The president set off for West Nile, that is Arua, on 9th November. Era lero ziri 10. So lero it was a full 30 days. Nga tuchapa ekintu kino, and we thank God for how far he has brought us. We thank him for how he has sustained us on the campaign trail. Byonna byatukoledde. And most importantly, I salute all of you Ugandans that have contributed physically, emotionally, prayer-wise, to see that we get where we are. 30 days on the campaign trail. First of all, the nomination itself was a dream. We never thought it would happen, and it happened. And now we've done 30 full days as a campaign. Unfortunately, so many lives have been lost. A lot of property has been also destroyed. So many human rights have been abused. So everything tekibadde kyangu n'akatono. Before coming on air, mutegedde ebibaddewo, the president nga bamulemesa okuyingira okwebaka. But as far as I understand, and those are the resolve. There's been a resolve. There's been a resolve. The president is safe. Much as mumanyi torture ebaawo, everything tebibadde byangu at all. Kusika muguwa, everything doesn't work the way things are supposed to be. 30 days buli muntu alina bw'azirabye bwe zisoose okutambula as a campaign. And through your comments, you'll be able to comment and tell us muzirabye mutya. And Muganda and Ivan Bruce was tema. So many issues we want to talk about. Twagala twogere ku human rights abuses ezo eziri gross enyingi ezisukkiridde. We want to talk about the sanctions. We want to talk about so how the world is reacting to the violence that is happening in Uganda. I want us to talk about a variety of issues as we progress. Buli muntu ateekemu input here. I'll be going through the comment section, and I'll be talking about twogere ku bintu bingi nnyo. Tugenda kwogera ku byobulamu, COVID atambula atya, atuuseewa. Bana embeegayiridde kindly, please don't call me at this particular moment. Tugenda kwogera about so many issues. Okubabuulirako akatonotono nga zaali ku ground. It's day 30, like I've said. Day 30. A campaign trail. Yesterday it wasn't an easy day. Today hasn't been easy at all. Some of the comrades abatambula ne president bafunye accidents in a space of just 2 days. Waliwo accident. Vitizia radio gye mubadde mulaba Semayisima gye yatandikira mu campaign trail. Mba mujijjukira Vitizi eyo. Olunaku lw'eggulo yafunye accident. Neyonooneka bya nsusso. Era leero tekyali ku kkubo, yavudde ku kkubo. I don't know if is my network stable, Mukulu Bruce?
Yeah, you're stable.
Okay. So let me refresh, because waliwo ankubidde and that really kinkyankalanyiza my network. That's why mbeegayiridde, please don't call me. Don't call.
Naye ng'oli owulikika. Okay.
Yeah, please don't call. So byonna what I'm trying to say is emmotoka omutambulira bannamawulire Supercast omu eyo olunaku lw'ekiro era nayo yagudde. You know how terrible the roads are. Today another van kamunye badde etambuliramu abaana naye egudde era bangi balumiziddwa. Mukama kyatukoze obulungi, tekuli afudde naye nga mulimu abalumiziddwa, something that is unfortunate. So we continue to pray for those guys abalumiziddwa. So that is the picture of the day today. Tear gas mumulabye, abaana bangi banayitirwa. I've had an experience with this tear gas. Ne tear gas wa luno we bakuba Ekisookera ddala asindukiza emmeeme aleeta nausea. Era abaana abasinga bonna they will testify to you the moment they get tear gassed, they puke. Basinduukirirwa emmeeme ne bathrowinga up. That is how terrible this tear gas is. Ate bamukuba in huge amounts. Nti mubeera mu ka concentration mu ka area nga katono nnyo 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 ne balyoka bakubawo nga mungi nti you choke. You choke, obimba ejjovu, it's more or less poison, pure poison. Yesterday mwalabye omukyala gwe nakyalidde Kayunga tear gas gwe bamukuba mu mbugo nti inner thighs eno munda mu bisambi yeewajja naye mu bukyala wamubalagala buli ssaawa waliyo omuliro. Tear gas oliwo yafumuukirayo yakumayo omuliro. That is how poisonous these gases are. So muganda Ivan Bruce njagala osooka ontemeretemere mu kulabako mu maaso go. How have you seen the past 30 days before we go any further?
Bannaye nsanyuse nnyo okubeera wano okubeera wano bannaye bannakyoto mwenna n'abandaba n'abatulaba. Ennaku asatu eziyise nze nina essanyu ate ndi munakuwavu nnyo 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 nnyo. Essanyu lye nnina mu kusooka ennaku zino asatu zitulagidde ddala wa Uganda gyegenda kati. Era buli muntu yenna omunnayuganda ali eyo abadde alaba ebigenda mu maaso mu nnaku asatu zino. N'abantu aba NRM bennyini nnyini bayitirivu nnyo, nze abamu bemmanyi nako, ng'abamu baalina ba MPs bemmanyi nako mu bitundu by'omu Western Uganda nga kati bakubira Honorable Kyagulanyi campaigns olw'ebikolwa gavumenti ya Uganda oba mwami Museveni byakoze abannayuganda. Nga kino ekintu nze sikyakiraba ebintu ebigenda mu maaso sikyabirabira mu ndabira ya byabufuzi oba ya bibiina byabufuzi. Kino ekintu ekigenda mu maaso omuntu yenna nga yo human, yo a Ugandan, waliwo wantu kati we tulina okubirabira ebintu bino nga omuntu wena tekikyakwetagisa kuba munnabyabufuzi okulaba nti things are not going well and things are not good at all, you know. Kati abannayuganda bangi abaana bangi abantu abakyala abaami abantu abakulu n'abato abafudde. Nkubuulira over 200 Ugandans are dead within just a month. Within a period of 30 days, more than 200 Ugandans are dead. Naye nga bonna tebafa because of COVID. Ng'ekirwadde kya COVID si kye kibatta. Naye nga babatta olw'okubanga balina embeera gye bateekawo nti balwanyisa COVID. Nze kintu kye simanyi mu nsi yonna nti ate you have to kill in order to serve someone's life. Bwe mubanga abantu abattibwa olw'okubanga basevinga bulamu bw'abantu obutakwatibwa COVID. Naye how do you explain the fact of shooting them and knocking them and pepper spraying them on while riding borders, okufuna accidents ne bagwa mu mamotoka, emmotoka ne zibalinye eza patrol? How do you explain that? Okukuba kutaasa bulamu oba kujjawo bujja ate bulamu, you know. So nze ekintu ekinkwasa ennaku abannayuganda bangi bafudde naye tewali muntu n'omu gwe bakutte kuleeta mu mbuga z'amateeka oba kuvunaanibwa kubeera accountable. Then ekyessanyu ekinsanyusa nti abannayuganda bonna kati balaba gye tulaga. Uganda gyegenda tulabayo, era mbagamba nti ensolo ku kizigo kweri. Whether Museveni likes it or not, Uganda is changing. The government is changing. Ekyo tewaliwo na kukibuuzaako, byonna tubiraba mu bintu ebigenda mu maaso yonna Honorable Kyagulanyi gy'atambulira. So ekyessanyu ekiriwo nti at least tulaba nti change is coming ate eri soon.
Okay.
Muganda wange.
Yeah, thank you so much for that brief analysis. I'll go through some of these comments. Someone is requesting us to mix English and Luganda together so that those who don't understand Luganda can also follow. Let me see. This is what these guys are saying. Ugandans, let's continue contributing the struggle. Those who can fundraise, who can comment, who can share, can provide, can distribute, please don't give up. In the past 30 days, the regime is taking opposition supporters as enemies, and non-Ugandans only deserve torture and death. That is why they don't care when tear gassing. That is Salongo Chakonye. Another person is saying, 30 days of campaigning as NUP supporter more is on Facebook, but it is upside down. We are not safe. Our hearts are broken, but we're still praying for our comrades on the ground. May God protect and heal the sick, but we shall overcome. So basically, abantu abamu bagezaako okugamba violence abadde mungi. Tewaliwo kalulu kaali kabaddemu kusika muguwa. This is the most the tension is kind of high compared to what you've been experiencing before. Ojja kwesanga nga is too much tension, and in the process the regime is brutalizing the residents, the civilians in Uganda. Naye nga ebizibu byonna buliwo ki nti there is a lot of panic, there is a lot of fear, and a lot of all malpractices that you can expect in an election ziteereddwawo. Era mwalabye nti kankuwa ekyokulabirako baguze ba candidates baffe bangi. Tekibangawo kugula ba candidate nga ku guno mulundi. Ewalala there are candidates whose academic credentials were stolen towards nomination. Imagine. Now you're nominating tomorrow, you go with your paper envelope where you keep your certificates, and a gang comes and steals away your academic credentials so that you don't nominate. Tear gas, like we've seen, has been so much. The military deployment has been so much. That is on the negative side, over on the challenging side. Now on the positive, Ugandans have woken up. Ugandans have woken up. Ugandans are yearning for change more than before. Ugandans are hungry, purely hungry to see that change comes. And that is something that is amazing. You can't take that for granted. When you see their hunger, the entire country is rising up and it is speaking with one voice. They want to be free, regardless of their political parties, regardless of their culture, regardless of their tribe and whatsoever. So 30 days, we thank God, Ebenezer, how far he has brought us, and we hope okweyongerayo maaso until wetuyingira new Uganda. Era wano wentuusiza okusaasira kwange eri families ezo that have lost loved ones in this process. Olunaku olukyasinza okubeera bloody ng'oggyeko luli olwaliko okwekalakaasa nga bakutte president. Lwe lunaku lwa campaign ezatandikira Kayunga Buyikwe Mukono. That day was so bloody. So much blood was shed. President alyoka amalira ejjinja baagala omukuba amasasi. Olwo olunaku lwali luzibu nnyo terunalabikako as far as bloodshed is concerned. Era twongere okusabira those families ezitoba ne baganda baffe abalumizibwa abaamenyeka ate nezo zirina baganda baffe abatuva ku maaso. Mukama azigumye tube nga tupushinga. We push. Amosh, do you have YouTube? We have Echoto TV, that is YouTube, where we are streaming live. Echoto TV, we are there. Katson Ojojo Kacha is saying the 30 days of NUP are stripped naked NRM, that they have no support all over the country. Exactly. You know, the dictator has been confusing the population, thinking muchalo tetuliyo, projecting an image that NUP is just concentrated in urban areas. But today, tubalazeko that we are not joking. We are everywhere. Everywhere you've been going. I've been part of this campaign trail, and I tell you, the joy I felt when we went to Karamoja and these guys were just pushing on hard and harder and saying we are ready to eat the tear gas come what may, as long as what we are doing is taking down the dictator. People were proudly pushing, and I think Bachitegede, we are not only in Kampala, we are not only in Central Region, but change is needed across the country. Odroka Sunday is saying we Ugandan are not sleeping this time round. Nope, everywhere. That is true. Omukale Wandubuso Wanabula, you resemble this guy. I don't know what you're saying. Ugandans go to Twitter as well. We need there. We have conquered Facebook. We need to conquer Twitter as well. Yeah, we need our presence on Twitter so that we can create hashtags that are trending. What happened on the days when the dictatorship was killing Ugandans? They created hashtags that we are downplaying the amount of violence that was being conducted on Ugandans. They created a hashtag, for instance, Gamba Stop Hooliganism. For them, the murders that were going on, that it is hooliganism. Remember, people were standing up for their rights, the right to speak, the right to express themselves, the right to assemble. That's what people were pushing for. Nenga wanaba NRM soma, ngabali online, making a hashtag trending, ngegamba stop hooliganism. And we didn't confront them, counter them, because we don't have so much presence on Twitter. We need to be strong on Twitter because it is the most official social media platform where serious guys where serious issues are discussed, because there is so much warlocks and so much Lugambo on Twitter, so much irrelevant information, on Facebook, not Twitter. So we need to be more active on Twitter. Okay, moving forward, my brother Ivan Busto Komieo, I want us to comment about violence strictly. Kanjogere ku y'olunaku lw'olwaleero, day 30. What have you witnessed? And what is your comment about the different cases of violence? Tulabye nga president agenda elegu, okuva elegu tulabye ne waabadde essaawa zino lwakuba nange neerabira where you have slept tonight, nawo bakubiddewo abaana. What is your comment about today's violence?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mosh, for giving me yet another opportunity. I'm sorry, my network is not very stable. What I witnessed today is I don't know. I'm even short of words to explain or to express my feelings to what happened today, and yet what is still happening, because what we've seen today is still going to happen until the day of elections, and even worse. That's one thing we always tell Ugandans. Not that we did not expect this violence, but we did not expect this magnitude of violence. Police, one thing you have to know, Ugandans, that Electoral Commission is invaded, was taken over by SFC. There is no question about that. We've been telling you that, we've been saying that from the word go. Mr. Byabakama actually is on pistol, is on gunpoint. He cannot give any orders. He is not in control. We've seen some individuals actually in civilian. We've seen some individuals in civilian clothes making orders, giving orders to DPCs, giving orders to these police officers, guys with no even IDs, but controlling the situation, commanding all these atrocities, So I'm telling you what is happening in Uganda at the moment. Museveni is using these institutions to cling and to brutalize people who are not supporting him, So people have to know that Uganda was taken over by rebels. Uganda was taken over by a private army called the SFCs. These Kiruhura boys, the SFCs, who are in the SFCs, these boys are related to the first family, These boys are cousins, nephews, and all that. They are all the same. They all belong to the same family. And these boys, their order and their mission is to brutalize and kill. That's what they are trained for. They are trained to use violence to make sure that they keep Museveni and his family and their family in power, because they know that they have done a lot of atrocities. Once Museveni is out of power, these people, everyone will be accountable individually. So they are doing whatever they are doing to make sure that Museveni stays in power so that they can stay safe with their wealth and their deeds. So this violence is inhuman. You cannot explain to me the reason to why you should block Bobby Wine, you know, from going to where he's supposed to sleep, and in the process, you blocked him in an area, in a residential area. You created a scenario, you know, whereby you know very well that people are going to gather, people are going to come out from their houses to see what is going on, you know. That's a normal thing, you know, for any human being. So people gathered actually in their around their houses compounds, you know, but you ended up shooting them and tear gassing them. These tear gas canisters are bombs. Actually, they are grenades, they are bombs, they are lethal weapons. You heard what the police officer, I don't know whether it was a DPC or IGP or whatever, you heard his comment, what he said. He said that actually they have the rights to kill, to use any force they can to kill people.
That is the Minister of Security in Uganda, Civil. Yeah, the police has the right to shoot and kill you.
But today, there was one of the lives. There was one of the lives where a police officer who was commanding, you know, when they blocked Bobby Wine, one of the police officers actually repeated the same statements. He repeated the same statements. Yeah, he was. He was telling the people who are standing by their residence, by their houses, you know. So what happened next? Within less than actually a minute, they started tear gassing, throwing these canister bombs, you know, and one ended up actually hitting, you know, one of the boy on the eye, and the eye popped out, you know. So what they did, the residents, they carried the boy unconscious. We don't know whether he might even be dead, and they dumped him on a police vehicle. Bobby Wine, Honorable Chagulanyi, took a video, you know, a live video, and posted it on his Facebook page. You know, it's very disturbing seeing such things happen to Ugandans. You know, why would you create a scenario? You know very well when you're doing such, those people, they are supposed to be trained. They are trained to observe, you know. They are trained to know that to avoid such scenarios, such incidents. If you know that, okay, you're going to block the road, why do you have to block the road in a residential area? You know, what are you insinuating? You know, when you do that kind of thing in a residential area, people will start gathering, you know, and then you're the same person chasing them away. Where do you want them to go? They are already at their houses. You get it? So it's very, very, very disturbing, and this created a very bad image to Ugandan security organizations, and to us. Actually, it's good for us.
Okay. Now, one of the reasons the police gives and the Electoral Commission, they give for dispersing the rallies, not rallies actually, because I've been part of these campaign trains. You know, while watching to HRGNA President Chagulanyi ever since he joined politics, and other people are trying to copy. In every trading center we get to, people start running alongside the motorcade. They can run with us for at least 20 minutes. And one time I joked with the people I was with in the vehicle, Nengamba, where are these people running? Why are they running? You know, the excitement gets them running. Some are old, some are carrying babies on their backs, some are disabled. Like I use my personal account to highlight those unique cases where people are running alongside. And to date, I've never gotten the logic behind the running. But I think I also try to envision what they go through. The excitement sometimes is too high, is too much. And, you know, some of them just they are getting their first opportunity to see this inspirational leader who is shaking this old dictator. So in the process, they run and run and run along. Such sessions last between 5 to 20 minutes. But you find these people are running in peace and others are simply waving. Police is tear gassing them. The police comes with a premeditated mentality. nti yo eina kukuba tear gas. They come ready to fire. Even where there is no necessity whatsoever, the police comes ready to fire. And we are wondering what is preempting the police to behave in such a crude manner. I'll give an example when we were heading to Ginger. From Kamuli, they hadn't tear gassed since the start of the day until maybe around 3 p.m. In Kamuli. These guys started tear gassing. Then we stopped and asked them, what is your problem? Why are you tear gassing at these people who are not causing any issue, who are not causing any havoc, or who are not even, the president has not stopped to talk to them, that is campaigning in the middle of the road, but he's just waving at them and then continuing on his way. They simply said it's the boss who has told us to tear gas. Okay, I wonder the kind of training these guys get. But kiki ekibali mu bwongo muli ekibaleetera okuba nga bo they are always trigger happy. The first thing they do is shoot. And mu bwongo muli, I think these guys are sick. Today mulabye a scenario whereby one of their own has been overwhelmed by the expired tear gas and he fainted. It is our ambulance first aid team using our own ambulance that saved this policeman because he's Ugandan. But we couldn't because he's also Ugandan. It is so illogical even to them. Every time we have a confrontation with these guys, I ask them, you guys, you went for training and you are trained to protect us. You are trained to maintain peace and order in the society. And right here where we are in the middle of nowhere, we are not disturbing anyone's peace. Simply, we are moving to our next location. Tell me where such a training, where did you get such a training that tells you that when you find people who are peaceful, people who are not armed, people who don't have anything to fight against you, where do you get the justification to just start tear gassing them wantonly? And these guys had no way to explain. So violence, I think, has been crafted as a means to stop us, as a means to respond to the way National Unity Platform and People Power is taking over the strongholds of NRM. They can't convince people anymore. They can't bribe them anymore because Mukalulu Kano, by the way, Temuli sent Mukalulu Kano compared to what happened in 2016. There is no those huge amounts of money we used to see. In this election, there is nothing like that. In this election, tewali wo mudidi gwa sente gudise. So because they have no money to waste, I think all the taxes they stole, they chose to invest them abroad or to remain with the money because they know anyway they are leaving power. So they don't want to spend the money. So the only solution they have right now is tear gassing. And kambabulira kwe kisinga okuluma nti mubeera awo nga muli ku loggerheads with the police, temuwogana, you're not violent but you're standing, and someone just gives an order out of the blue that start firing tear gas out of the blue, and before you know it, the grenades come flying, and waliwo ekikyuse. They have 3 kinds of tear gas canisters. Bayina ako nga ke mwalaba akaali kakubye our president. That kind of canister has no amount of tear gas that is much as such. It only has sharp nails. Kuvaako obumansuka obwo ate busala bwe mwalaba akakuba Dan Magic keko kakuba abaana bangi nnyo. Akantu ako kakubalikira okumpi kakusala ne kakusalira ddala. The same thing happened to Nubian Lee. That's the kind of canisters they are unleashing at us. Secondly, bafuba okulaba nga they tear gas like mu kifo kimu nga bungi, because you can be like 20 people ne babasumulira 10 tear gas canisters, and they create a huge smoke, cloud of smoke, and it is nauseating, it is upsetting, era okumaliriza nga you feel like you're dying. So these 30 days, as he said, the brutality of the NRM has been highlighted, and how murderous the regime is, that has also been highlighted. So Ugandans, Banandi, that gives us more reasons to keep pushing this government to get away again, because we've suffered enough. Much blood has been shed. We can't continue like this. We have to leave a country that is habitable to the generations that are coming. Let our generation be the last one to take in these amounts of tear gas. Let our generation be the last one to suffer the shooting or kutomera abana. There is nothing that is confusing and annoying and hurting as seeing a police truck running through these border riders, these motorcycle riders, with intention. We don't even the intention if it is to kill. Because let me ask you, oh, you got tira abantu be doesn't he have a family? Today I told you about the cases in Kasese where people were tear gassed from their homes, and some of them died because tear gas was thrown at them. Kwegamba, you saw what happened in Bari. You've seen what has happened we've talked about Kasese. You've seen the violence in Busoga, in Jinja. You saw the violence in Kayunga, the violence in Uyikwe. Everywhere we go, there is just violence. And the funny bit about this violence, it is not coming from our end. Yet these people call us violent. They call us hooligans. They call us all sorts of terrible names. They even accuse us of having arms. If we had arms, and the way they provoke us, these guys treat us like animals, do you think we wouldn't have already started fighting them physically? These guys just don't know how to deal with us, and they are resorting to using violence. But we know by the grace of God and by the use of people power, we are overthrowing this dictator to end the bleeding in Uganda. Tewaliwo dictator aliyawangudde maanyi g'abantu. We know it might take a lot of pain, it might cost us a lot of tears, and unfortunately it is costing us blood. But we know at the end of the day, the dictator is going to fall, and he is going to answer individually for the crimes he has committed. Because he still has an opportunity to abdicate the seat, to run out of the state house, but the guy is sticking on and costing us more lives. People power, we don't throw stones. Remember Mujinja, I think this guy is expected maybe to find anything that can look like a weapon. Chovola babali milize motoka, nebajaza, nge motoka nkalu, there is nothing. Bewunya, chiche twesiga, tetuina mundu, we have nothing. So, comrades, all in all, let's just keep pushing. Moving on, Electoral Commission obululu bwayingiddewo. Initially they had invited and written to the different political parties, inviting to travel to France where the ballot papers were printed. But we very much know it is useless, because remember, you can't tell how many countries were given the contract to print the ballot papers. So okutambula ogenda mu nsi emu tugeze oba mu Netherlands oba tugeze mu France to watch and be there to monitor as ballot papers get printed. It is simply wastage of time and wastage of resources. We very much know how these guys are going to rig the election. They are not going to use normal ways. They are not going to start. It is going to France or to the Netherlands to be there as the ballot papers are getting printed. It is useless. It is not going to save us or change anything. The right thing to do is to be alert on the day of voting and the days that will follow. So, bano bakyali abalowooza nti ffe tuli mbuzi, tuli basiru, tunaabeeraawo. Kati wabaawo nga in case we had moved to France or to Netherlands to go and witness and the ballot papers get printed, are we allowed to be there where they are going to be stored? Je tuliyo obululu gye buterekebwa. Kino kitegeeza that any day, any time, these guys can play with these ballot papers. We don't know the amount of ballot papers that has been printed. We don't know the amount of ballot papers that have been printed. So, isi ezanya byayo, we know it is no longer in charge or in control of the entire process. First of all, whatever violence ekolebwa, and these guys can't even comment about it. They have no control over the police and the military. But at least let them continually give statements as against the kind of violence that is being meted on us. But as we keep watching and we keep opening our eyes, we see that the violence continues and the Electoral Commission is not in charge of the entire process. Kitegeeza mentally tulina okubeera ready to fight on our own. We know The reason we came to into this election, it is a protest election. It is not a normal election, rather a protest election where we've come in to challenge the status quo, where we've come in to protest against the irregularities that are going to be witnessed during the election period. Nkimanyi obadde owuliriza bulungi my comment. I want us to progress in the Electoral Commission obululu bwakomyewo, and it has written to different political parties inviting them to witness as they get offloaded the planes and as they are being taken to storage. What is your comment about that kind of hypocrisy, the double standards, where they are more or less like mocking us? Mutibaita mubeewo mulabe obululu nga buzituuka mulabe ne gye bugenda okutwalibwa. Brother Ivan Bruce, komawo. We want to hear from you. Museveni divided the country in pieces. Please, we Flonabs, let me see, the so-called army or policemen, Museveni, like their religion, they are brainwashed. So, Ivan Bruce, what is your comment about the pretense of the Electoral Commission to invite the different political parties to witness the arrival of the ballot papers? What is your comment? Simanyi oba mpulira muganda wange Ivan Bruce. Unfortunately, my brother Ivan Bruce is struggling with his network. Zali Uganda bitambula. Tubasinzeeko namwe Borison tabali bulungi abali eyo. But comrades, what am I trying to say is this. We have just to be extra alert. Gwaina relative war. Remember, these guys are fighting us through basically one rule, one avenue. Observation of standard operating procedures regarding COVID-19. Naye mujjukire kambayo ekyokulabirako ku rallies. Kyagulanyi tagambako bantu nti mujje munninde. Kyagulanyi tagaanangako kugabira bantu mask. Remember ne President Kyagulanyi akyogera misana era akyogera lunye. Ye mu parliament gyatuula bayisa billions, 88 billions, an equivalent of around, let me see, around $2 million or even more. Bakolere Uganda yonna masks. Nefena tukimanyi what we got. The type of masks we got, and the number of Ugandans who got masks. Fena tukimanyi nti obabalira ku ngalo. So these guys are just trying to be the dictators they are. They are playing on our minds. They're just using every opportunity to torture, to kill, and to maim us. Banaye muganda nge Ivan Bruce muna musasira network temuli bulungi.
Network ndi bubi nnyo munsonyiire ddala bannaye network ndiira empiiga.
Exactly. So so I'm commenting about the hypocrisy, the pretense by the Electoral Commission, okwefuula okubeera nga teraba human rights violations ezigenda maaso, okwefuula mbu eri civil neeyita ebibiina by'obufuzi bibeewo ng'obululu butuuka, yet nga tukimanyi bulungi they are not the ones in control of the process. Fena tukimanyi nti SFC, private army ya Bosco, yeri okontrolinga buli kimu ekigenda maaso. What is your comment about that? Mukulu Bruce, simanyi oba mpulidde bulungi.
Mukulu Mosh, banaye munansonyiira ddala network yange embi nnyo. Naye naatera okukyusa network. Mukulu Mosh, njagala nkuwulidde, simanyi ompulira?
Mpulira bulungi ssebo, nkuwulira.
Ompulira taata?
Ssebo.
Network yange erabika egaanye. Ompulira?
Yogera tukuwulira, yogera tukuwulira. Yogera tukuwulira. Go ahead and speak. We hear you clearly. Oh, my brother Ivan Bruce is struggling with his network. Nenga fena tukimanyi nti bano bakyali bwe bagenda okubbira akalulu. Tumanyiwo. By the way, sooner than later, I'm inviting one of the people abagenda okwasaganya ebyokuuma akalulu kaffe. Bongera otubuulira nga ffe ba civilians ba wananchi. What role can we play in safeguarding our victory? Because this is the plan these guys have. They want every Ugandan olumala akalulu bwati ngadde ewaka. That is their intention. Tubalekere polling station, tubalekere ballot papers, tubalekere ballot box, bakole byonna bye bakola ki bye baagala. Bo balowooza tuli mmome, balowooza twebase. But my dear friends, Ugandans, kino nkiddamu. I know most of you are good sharers, most of you have people mu byalo. please abantu mubagamba olumala okulonda Kyagulanyi basigalewo ku polling stations. They should not move away, basigalewo, because the moment we make that mistake of moving away, they are going to doctor the results, they are going to change everything about us. So Ugandans, what I kindly beg you is one, bwe tumala okulonda tetuseetuka kuva ku polling station, akalulu kalonde, beerawo kakuume, mukubiriza abantu okujja okulonda, tubakime yonna mu byalo, abalina obukosefu, abakadde, abagonvu, yonna eyo ye role yaffe nga ffe bawanayinki. Then abantu abali technical bano supervisors, polling agents baffe bo bakole ekiri ekyokwetegereza to make sure that everyone who comes to the polling station to vote is on the voters register. So then abo bamala okukanula amaaso, supervisors babeerewo okubeera nga making sure that all our agents are well facilitated, our agents are in good shape, there is no intimidation, tewali kavuyo. Like we always say, the NRM has a structure that comes in to disorganize ku polling day. Naye awo wonna twebeereremu comrades, amaaso tugakanule. Constitutionally, we are allowed to remain 100 meters away from the polling station. Tusigalewo. What you have to do is this: let us come wearing our masks. Bulungi masks zaffe tujje nazo. Secondly, nga bwe tulinze to maintaining a distance, kubeera nga bano bakyayi tetubawa nsonga yonna kutuskyankalanya. Ate ekirungi, the entire country will be voting, so Museveni won't be able to deploy buli wonna ajjuzeewo to cause intimidation. We shall be there. We are going to force this dictator. Now in Bagambia, we are going into a protest election. We are forcing the dictator to play by our rules come 14th January. Mukulu Bruce, you can comment about the Electoral Commission, brother. Yes, Mukulu Bruce, I don't know about Mpulira. Please comment. You can comment about the electoral process and the Electoral Commission. Please go ahead. Unfortunately, my brother Bruce Tampulira Bulungi. But at the moment you can hear me, you can come on air.
Bana munsonyiwe network mbinye entawanyiza ddala. Simanyi oba mpulikika bulungi, ompulira bulungi tata?
Yes, owulikika.
Can you hear me, Mosh?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, kale kati kyenjagala okugamba nze kyenjagala okwongera ku kintu kya Electoral Commission. Like I said, Electoral Commission is not in command. That's one thing, you know. Kubanga Electoral Commission yafulumya program, nefulumya guidelines, nefulumya program ya campaigns. Bo Honorable Kyagulanyi are following a program ya campaigns.
Well, Mukulu Bruce tukuwulira, just go right ahead and communicate. We hear you clearly. We hear you. Bannange. Dictator, twagala kujjako dictator naye takkiriza. Dictator is trying really to disorganize us. But what I'm telling you, Ugandans, the message, buli ayogerako n'omuntu wewaka, making sure abantu tubajjukiza. They come with their mask, they come with their water, they should come ready and prepared to stay at the polling station, but at the same time observing the standard operating procedures as a COVID, so that they're not chased away with an excuse that they are crowding. No, we want to social distance. We want to wear masks that cover our faces so well and our noses so that we can be safe from COVID. But most importantly, tubeewo in plenty. Era kino nkibasaba wano. Olunaku olwo, let us try as much as possible to mobilize the entire village to vote at once, because remember, voting begins at 7 p.m. sharp in the morning and it ends at 4 p.m. sharp. No one goes beyond that time except those who have been already standing in the line by the time it clocks 4. So let us be smart. Let us be there in huge numbers. Let us be there when we are smart, when we are decent, when we are disciplined. And we want them to start the violence. That we are not violent people, but we are people who stick on the truth. And that day we are sticking on the truth, and we are going to create a scenario or an environment that will force the Abakama to announce the real results, because for us our eyes are going to be wide open. We are not giving the dictator a chance dictating how the election is going to be ran, because what has been happening previously, the vestiges and other opposition members to play along the rules of the dictator. You can't remember Yalonda Langirira, Yalonda everything is about him. Naye kakati amagezi tugasaze gatya okulaba nga tumukubira mu system ye yini gya creating. That is where we have to be extremely smart, extremely organized, and extremely vigilant. So every Ugandan yonna gy'oli, making sure tosetuka kuva ku polling station ng'omaze osuula akalulu. Linda DR form. Ate mu abali ku byalo, create your own teams ezigenda okugoberera DR forms zino, especially in areas that are very far, areas in the Karamoja sub-region, areas in Chisoro, Chigezi sub-region, areas in the North and the West Nile. Let us try as much as possible to be vigilant and work faster and work smarter to know that we are protecting our vote, we are protecting our future. So, comrades, I'm going to host someone again Uganda how to correctly tick, how to correctly vote by not, because we don't want invalid votes. We don't want any polling station any invalid vote. Neda. We want all the votes that we are going to cast this time very valid. We won't allow invalid votes. Invalid vote, we shall look for you. We can't even allow. The red dressing, they won't allow berets. Berets have been illegalized in Uganda by this regime. We know they don't pose any harm, but the regime has decided to stop people from wearing the red beret. It scares them to the bone. To avoid any sort of confusion on the day of polling, please, if you can avoid putting on a beret, avoid it. I'm not even saying if you can. As a must, don't come to the polling station with a beret. Secondly, don't bring campaign materials. Campaign materials, I mean what? T-shirts that are promoting our president Kyagulanyi should not be there as well, because it is not allowed to campaign at the polling station. And if you come with a T-shirt with a message or anything that is promoting the candidate, you won't be allowed at the polling station. You might even be chased away. So kindly stick to the guidelines. Keep 100 meters away from the polling station after you've cast your vote. Don't go home. Stick around, making sure oli kumpi awo nga weetegereza buli ekigenda maaso. Mujjukire bano be bantu abakkirizibwa munda mu polling station. Ba polling agent baba abeesimbyewo. Ba polling agent baba abeesimbyewo to making sure be bokka ababeeramu. Omulala SFC, SPC, Special Police Constable, abalina okumakinga sure nti bateekawo obukuumi kale obumala obutakubaawo kukyankalana. N'omuntu omulala gwe bayita presiding officer owa polling station. Then n'abalala ababiri badepute bababiri, roughly be bantu katulabe, buli candidate yeesimbyewo kati ku luno buli candidate bali 11. Buli candidate akkirizibwa okuleeta abantu babiri, kitegeeza be bantu 22. Kuba tulina 11 candidates, buli candidate wanaaba aleese abamugenda omukuumira akalulu be bantu 22 ababa candidates. Okwo kwogatta presiding officer wa polling station eyo be bantu 23, n'abamyuka be 2 be bantu 25, kwoteeka n'abasirikale ba SPC ba Special Police Constables 2 be bantu 27. Mu mateeka naabo tebalina kuba na mmundu. Naye olwokuba tukimanyi Bosco gamubugumye, bonna agenda bbawa emmundu. N'abayiseeko ekiro ssaawa nga 10 nga badduka batraininga beetegekera kubba kalulu na kuba bannayuganda. Naye bajje nga bakimanyi nti CFA abaaluli ffe be bali be bogerako abatendeke kwegamba abalagirwa tuzze kalulu kano nga tuli serious, tuli ready. We have to win this ballot by all means. We won't allow anything to get on our way. So be bantu ababirimu omusanvu benjogeddeko abalina okuba mu polling station. Naye si buli wamu kati Katumba tojja kumatiza nti anaabeera n'abamukuumira akalulu across the country. The same happens to Mwesigwa, Kalembe, Kabemawo. Tebagenda kuba na structures zibakuumira akalulu everywhere. Era ojja kwesanga national unity platform ffe abakirimu. Befe abakirimu. So tufube okulaba nga ffe buli wamu ku kyalo kyammwe mutegese abantu. Kati bwe mumala otegeka abo ababiri abagenda okukola nga polling agents, mutegeke eyo tiimu eri eyakabi egenda okuyimirirawo all the time. We need those at least 30 people bo babe wali ku polling station. Nga bano abalala bo ne baddayo ab'ekyalo naye nga bano abaffe abeewaddeyo nga piki zaabwe weeziri zirimu amafuta nga bali ready okubeerawo awo nga beetegereza buli ekibeerawo. Kubanga mu biseera bya lunch ba RDC ne bachali ba NRM bano ba chairperson b'oku byalo bamanyi okujja ne bacyankalanya polling stations. They come and disturb what happens at polling stations. Kati in the process of kucyankalana ne basuula obululu mu ballot boxes ziri ne babusuulamu oba olumu ne bayinza n'okubba n'akatabo k'obululu awo. Mwalaba Kalangwa mu kalulu k'Ehoima yeesibira mu office z'Electoral Commission ne batiikinga obululu ne bajjuza amabox. So akavuyo ako ku luno twebereremu. Ekirungi kiri kimu nti ne Bosco ali stretched kubanga tasobola kudeploying across the country. Tasobola naye abamuwaana, tasobola kubeera buli wamu, tasobola. Kitegeeza kiffe buli wamu tubeerewo nga twetegereza ekyokulwanyisa kyaffe ekisinga y'essimu, kubanga essimu erabise obuvuyo bwonna. Era mubenga muteekako data kwolwo olunaku nkwegayiridde nga tewannabaako kazibu konna kagwawo, essimu ebeere off kubanga smartphones mukimanyi tezitereka muliro. Omuliro guno tugwetaagaawo okuva ssaawa 10 ng'okubala kutandise. We need to record each and everything that happens. Tetujja kukkiriza kutubba, tetugenda kukkiriza bintu bya tujooga bibadde bakolanga Besigye. We don't have time to waste. Tetukoze bino byonna kwesudiya buki bwesudiya. We want to make sure that we cast our vote is counted, our victory is protected. Ekyo kye kisinga obukulu. Kaakati abo abantu be mbagambye ku kyalo bamaking sure nti bagoberera emmotoka z'Electoral Commission ezigenda okutambula nga zikuŋŋwanya obululu okuva ku byalo okugenda ku miruka, okuva ku miruka okugenda ku magombolola, okuva ku magombolola okugenda ku district. Remember, olwa COVID ne munda mu district mulimu we bataalingira tebajja kukkirizaamu nnyo bantu bangi. Bajja kubayinza okukkirizayo omuntu omu oba ababiri. And remember, abantu babeera abatono babeera easy to compromise, baba easy to threaten. Naye nga mu byonna ffe tubeere alert. The right word to use is alert. Tukatula amaaso tubenga tulaba akalulu, tubenga tuteekawo embeera nga bano abasajja bakimanyi we bakabbira. Tubateekako embeera okubeera nga tubagoba ku kyalo, okuba nga tubabuzaako emirembe. Kwolwo olunaku twagala kimu mazima. That is the only thing we want. Kitegeeza ki nti we munaaba ne polling, we munaaba nga muyina mwenna amasimu, nga mwenna muyina mu recording ekigenda maaso wano buli we babala akalulu nti gundi buli polling station egenda okumaliriza nga ka clip kaayo ka video clip akannyonnyola ebivuddemu nga tukalina nga butandika okutambula tubusharing kyalo ku kyalo, ebyalo byonna emitwalo 7 egya Uganda, to making sure nti gwe ku kyalo kyewammwe eriyo abantu 3, 4, 5 abalina smartphones ezikola nga ziriko VPN nga zigenda kusobola okuweereza those video clips n'ebifaananyi ebiragaani awangudde ku polling station eyo. I don't know if you understand exactly what I'm saying. Make sure that every village in Uganda has a representative, a national platform representative who is going to take a photo, to make a video clip of all the proceedings of to making sure that we have evidence ku social media ngajjudde kyalo ku kyalo ka video kateekayo ng'ogamba the results from Kyebongotoko, a polling station Kyebongotoko A. Tubeere nga tulina buli video y'ekyalo. We can create 70,000 videos. We can. It is very possible. every polling station, actually, it's not, so by the way, the polling stations are 35,000. Polling stations in Tono. Let me tell you, Kayomba Osman, they can't block all the social media avenues. Tebasobola kubanga nabo ko communicating ira. Tebalina sente zigula smartphones. Balina ba MP na ba abesi. Balina ekyamaanyi nnyo bajja kugi-interrupting, but with using VPN tujasobola oku-accessing social media. Maybe bajja kuba nabasasula just OTT tebatassaako VPN. Naye let's make sure that we have VPNs on all those phones. Buli ku polling stations emitwalo esatu n'ekitundu buli abamala okulonda ka video tukaagala n'ebifaananyi tupostinge. We can make videos emitwalo esatu n'ekitundu ne zitrendinga. Abana abasajja batubuulire bye banaalangirira bye bitabeere nga bye biri mu video, batubuulire gye banaaba babijje. Teri kusaaga. They switched off power of Facebook. Tugenda kucharginga amasimu gaffe. Abasobola power bank tugenda kuba nazo. We shall make sure that we are covered. Kambabulire temutu. I want you to focus on the positives. We know nakyemalira jatuzoganya. We know he will create that state of uncertainty, that state of blind. Kugamba ja kuteekawo enzikiza. Naye bwe tunajja nga tumaliridde, they can't kutuzoganya. Nze mbasaba kimu, ebifaananyi ebyo tubitimbeyo. DRFOM si yakyama. DRFOM mu making sure nti presiding officer akulidde polling station bw'amala okujjuzaamu mu foomu ezo baziteekeyo abantu bazikuba ebifaananyi ziragibwe ensi yonna. We need those DR forms, declaration forms. Twagala oziraba nga zitrendinga ku social media kwonna. Kati tulabe bino bye basoma ebyobulimba bulijjo gye biva. Mbeegayiridde nga bwe mulaba batukuba tiyagasi nga bwe tulemerako, nga president tumuvaako, nga batukubye tiyagasi, nga basse bannayuganda naye tetulemerako. Obwo obuvumu bwe tuba tugenda nabo ku polling station. We have to make sure that every declaration form gets online, oba ku Twitter, oba ku YouTube, oba ku Facebook, oba ku Instagram, to making sure nti polling zonna DR forms emitwalo 3,147 tuzirabako kuno ku social media, nga naawe osobola okutuula ewaka n'ogatta kalulu ku kalulu. N'ekirala, bwe mubeera mu kitundu ne mulabanga ebirondesebwa biruddeyo, if they delay to bring polling election materials and things to be used, mwabeekyalo musitukiremu, make an alarm, mukube enduulu nti mwagala kulonda. Mwalaba luli kye baakola Besigye, Wakiso ne Kampala ewawera abalonzi ndooza ne million 2 oba n'omusobyo. Ebirondesebwa byabwe bye byasembayo n'akalulu kaabwe tekaabalibwa. Ku luno kasita ziwera ssaawa 2 nga tebinnatuuka, enduulu ekaabe ku kyalo, enduulu ekaabe, teri byakutumanyira. Ebirondesebwa birina kutuukira mu budde. Polling materials are supposed to be at polling stations by 6:30 so that voting can begin at 7 a.m. in the morning. Guys, let us be many at the polling station so that bagenda okutandika okulonda nga tuliwo bangi nga tewaliwo batuyisa kulitalaba. Mujjukire etteeka ligamba nti abantu 5 kasita babeerawo ku polling station, voting can begin. No, we don't want those 5 people kubeera b'NRM. Bayina kuba baffe. Those guys are supposed to be national unity platform, the first 5. That is very important. The 5 votes on every polling station in Uganda, they have to be for national unity platform. They have to be for Robert Kyagulanyi and our parliamentary candidates. Teri kukola nsobi yadde teri kuzanya. Mwetegereze nnyo nga bayuza obululu. You know, the votes are always in a booklet. So each person is supposed to be given 1 vote. But you know, Museveni has made it a mission to make sure that they recruit only NRM cadres to organize polling stations and to manage polling stations, to act as presiding officers. So there is a possibility of tearing out more than 1 ballot paper. So let us have those open eyes. Let us be eager and very keen to level that every voter gets 1 ballot paper. 1 ballot paper per every voter. si bino byakuyuza era bane baja ati munsonyiwe mwijja bomo bamanyi okwekamu obululu abantu tubaaze to make sure nti tazze nakalulu we mulabira oli agezaako okuleeta akavuyo konna enduulu etandikirewo mukubireewo enduulu kubanga wali mujja kuba mugoba mubbi. Internet yo bakugijjako the way they did in 2021 but videos and photos are useful later, take them. Internet will be on. Naturally, muteekeko VPN. We don't want excuses, comrades. No excuses. Kambabulire. If we had accepted this kind of excuses to lead us, the one tetwandituuseewo. Tear gas nga taliika. Naye abaana nga balidde ennyaanya, abaana nga banaabye amazzi, nga banaabye Coca-Cola, kati twatuuka n'obivaako twabivaako twaguma, twasiba nnyama. Instead of giving excuses that tear gas will be there in plenty, it is there in plenty. Our comrades are bleeding, the nation is bleeding, but we keep pushing. The same thing will happen that day. Let us have VPN. Let us make sure that we are connected to the internet by all means. No excuse, no excuse, no excuse, no excuse. Let us download the VPNs nga bukyali. Beera ne VPN 3 oba 4 ozigezese. Teekako GB ya data ebeereko nga ebulayo wiiki namba akalulu katuuke. Ogambe eno GB sigikwatako ya ku kalulu kubanga n'ekirala esimu this network ejja kubeera slowed down nga tetusobola kugula airtime nga tetusobola kugula da bundles. So we should buy them ng'obudde bukyali to stalking esimu zaffe zibe nga zijjudde. Mbegayinda akalulu kaakano kagenda kuwangulwa na kanula maaso. Okanula amaaso y'engeri yokka gye tugenda okuwangulamu akalulu kano nga tubalabusa. You know our weapon has been always the camera. The camera has helped us to expose and address the dictator. So let us not stop doing that. Let us keep using the camera and shouting and pushing. I know when we work together, buli muntu n'akola ekikye kijja kusoboka. We are winning the dictator. We are winning this. Comrades, I thank you so much for all you've done today, for staying on, for sharing, and for inviting others. I'm quite worn out. Mkoye munda babadde sumagira sage sumagiramu. Can you share data? Yes. More than 1 GB. Very true. We should stock as much data. Netujjukire mulimu abantu bafe ab'omu kyalo. GB mu Uganda eya data eyinza n'okusukka omutwalo gwa okay, tejja sukka mutwalo naye etambulira omutwalo plus. Not very many people can afford that money. Ate mujjukire abantu abamu balimu akatengo nti abantu abamu sente bagenda zirya mu Christmas. That is Uganda. That is Uganda for you. Abantu abamu balimu akatengo, abantu abalala batya, naye to making sure. Let us make sure by all means nti tubeera ku polling station n'abantu abatatya. Ate n'ekirala kye bataddewo, mujjukire abantu bangi bagenda ve Kampala bagende mu byalo for Christmas. Abantu bangi bayinza obutalo abadde beewandiisiza okulonda e Kampala olw'okutya nti wanaabawo violence. Bayinza okubeerayo mu byalo ne tufiibwa obululu. Naye gwe anaagenda mu kyalo n'otasobola kusasula transport kukomyawo okulonda, making sure nti obeerawo wali ku polling station yeewammwe to make sure nti abantu balonda. Kitegerekeka, making sure bw'oba ogenze n'ekyalo okutufiiriza akalulu afazaali sigala w'oli osobole okulonda. We don't want to lose that vote. Every vote counts. Every vote for a national unity platform must be valid. Tetwagala kulaba invalid votes ku polling station za national unity platform. Invalid votes zibeere zone yagaana okuweerera abaana Bosco kubanga ye yagaana okuweerera abaana. So twebeereremu guys. Let's keep telling people what to do. Let them be ready to stay. The most important aspect of this election is not moving away from the polling stations, no matter what, no matter the amount of intimidation. The moment we walk away from the polling station, I'm telling you, tujja kuba tuwozezza twanike mu ttaka. Let us not move away from the polling station. Ekyo kyo nkiyinako n'obujulizi. Already directive egenda kufuluma nga okulonda kusembedde bagamba amala okulonda yadde ewaka tetugenda kubikkiriza. Let us not accept that. Come with your mask. Come, toyambala ngoye za people powers search nejangu ne mask yo nga weetegese bulungi. Woba olina ka sanitizer tambula nako that day. Come that day ready to stay at the polling station. Do not go home. Do not go for lunch. Come with your lunch. Come ready to vote and to stay on the polling station until Kyagulanyi is declared the winner, because we know we are winning this election, come what may. The entire Uganda is saying enough is enough. We want a new president. We want to enter a new Uganda. Thank you so much, comrades, for tuning in. God bless you. Catch you tomorrow, inshallah.